Now, I know what you may be thinking. Jay, how many videos are you gonna make talking about Dandadan? Don't you think you're overdoing it at this point? And to those people I say, shut your face. I've only made what, like 2 videos solely about Dandadan with a recent thumbnail referencing it. You guys make it sound like I'm a One Piece, Naruto, or JJK tuber where my entire channel revolves around the manga, getting into every nook and cranny of the story when that's not the case at all. I'm just a fan who's been reading it since the day it serialized 3 years ago, and I've been enjoying what the anime has offered us so far. Reliving those beautiful moments we all know and love now in full color with voice acting and music. I always look forward to seeing what Science Saru does with each week's episode. Yuki Nobutatu has created such an amazing series, and I'm glad it's getting the anime adaptation it deserves. But what if I told you there was another manga based on aliens and UFOs? A manga that's just as crazy, just as, if not more emotional, and just as good. A manga that had an anime air this year that no one talked about. I know, right? Kinda hard to believe, but let me cook. You know about Dandadan, but have you heard of Dededede? We're officially halfway through November and have 1 month left of 2024. Another year of anime that has exceeded expectations, and anime that have been mid as hell. But that's mostly isekai, so I'll leave that daunting task for someone else to handle. More importantly, you also get some hidden gems sprinkled throughout the year that fly under everyone's radar. Which brings me to today's topic. I want to talk about a series so low-key that not even the anime man himself didn't make a video on it. That's right. Giguk didn't even talk about it, so let's get into it.
マジです。
This is Dead Demon's Dededede Destruction. Alright, wait, don't click off just yet. Yes, at first glance, the name does look stupid as shit, but on the other hand, you watch the show called Dandadan, and there's isekai out there with names like Third World African reincarnated in another world to dominate the kingdom with his couscous recipe. Isekai titles make Dead Demon sound like Shakespeare in comparison, so I don't want to hear it. Back on topic, this is a manga created by Inio Asano, which serialized in Big Comic Spirits from 2014 to 2022. If that name sounds familiar, he's been active in the industry for over a decade now, creating such works as Solanin, Nijigahara Holograph, and his most notable work, Oyasumi Pum Pum. He's currently working on a new series called Mujina Into the Deep, which started a little over a year ago. Asano is known for creating character-driven stories that are more often than not rooted in reality. It almost feels like you're watching a human drama when reading it. Take that, add some science fiction and occult themes, and put it in a blender, and you got Dededede. 3 years ago, a giant UFO randomly appears out of nowhere over Tokyo. No one knows how or why this is happening, which of course leads to panic and confusion. This incident is referred throughout the story as 832, the last day of summer. Fast forward to current day. While this UFO just silently sits over the city, the story focuses on the lives of our 2 main characters, Kadode Koyama and Ouran Nakagawa, nicknamed Ontan, 2 third-year high schoolers on the verge of graduating and going to college. And with their friends Ai, Kiho, and Rin, together they try to live life with some kind of normalcy, despite the worldly issues around them. Hey, that kinda sounds like real life. I don't want real life in my manga? That's why I read manga, to escape from reality. Earlier I did mention this being similar to Dandadan. However, outside of the occult elements, that's where the similarities kind of end. Try going from Dandadan to Dead Demons and you'll quickly notice the major tonal shift. While the former can be serious when it needs to be, most of the time it's just wacky and fun shenanigans with the characters. And that goes for both the manga and anime. The latter is wacky, but I did not have fun reading or watching this. This shit is dark, just like Pum Pum. Basically, this is like part 32 of Asano's series of speedrunning depression. Remember how I said his works feel more like human dramas? Well, that's the case here. Outside of the sparse, lighthearted moments, I never got the feeling of, I'm watching an anime right now. That's how real it felt to me. This series has a very simple premise, but the story, execution, and where Asano takes these characters is where the complexities begin to show themselves. Remember that giant UFO that's just idle in the sky? Of course, how could you live in that world and not notice that shit? Well, since its appearance 3 years ago, it's been sending out smaller flying saucers throughout Tokyo. Because the military have been eyeing the UFO and its movements, they're quick to use their cannons to shoot down any and every saucer that it produces, all controlled by PS2 controllers? Why? Why? Of course, if you shoot down flying saucers, out comes aliens. Whoa! Who would have thunk it, right? These incidents really play a part in some major events that happened in the early story. Because of these flying saucers being destroyed, loads of aliens, referred to as Shinyakusha, or invaders, begin roaming around the streets and hiding so they don't get killed. One of these aliens, Kenichi Kohiruimaki, catches on camera. Kiho finally musters up the courage to ask Kenichi on a date, and on this date, he's constantly walking away from Kiho, checking his phone. It turns out that Kiho only went on this date because she saw Kenichi's depressing tweets and starts to worry about him. An argument between the two starts to happen, and after a few minutes, it dawns on Kenichi. Wait, this bit might be stupid. He's on this Jaden Smith worrying about the political economical state of the world type shit, whereas Kiho just wants to live her life and enjoy it with her friends and be Kenichi's girlfriend and main priority. She doesn't care about the world around her. And I understand both of their perspectives. There's no person in the wrong here. It's just two different ideologies clashing. After their argument, Kiho leaves to meet up with the other girls. Unfortunately, that would be the last time she sees Kenichi. The military shoots an enormous floating cube out of the sky and it falls on a certain part of town. Come to find out, in that certain vicinity was a destroyed apartment complex. The news later reports the event where 3 deaths have been confirmed, one of whom was Kiho. The next day, Kadode, I, and Rin take a train to school and process what they watched on the news. Even her classmates are distraught about what happened. Kiho's death gets to Ontan the most, as she shows up to school late and, all day, pretends to act like she's not affected by it. But deep down, she's just as, if not, more hurt than the other 3. They had the most intense rivalry out of the friend group, always bickering back and forth about the smallest shit, but it was never out of malice. It was just how they showed love and affection towards each other. While we're on the topic of love, here's a plot point. Kadode wants to fuck her teacher. Why? So much so that she's always around him during school, even sometimes after. Ouran goes along with her plan, convincing her to tell their teacher Watarase how she truly feels. However, at this point, Watarase is already in a relationship. At his house, him and Kadode are watching the news where Ouran is in the background. The anchor is reporting in front of a saucer crash site where Ouran stumbles across an alien device. Curious about what it is, she grabs it to show to Kadode. What Ouran doesn't know is there's another person looking for that same gadget, which leads to another plot point. A few days after graduation on the school roof, Ouran is yapping her little ass off, and in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Oba, a random boy Ouran locked eyes with in the snow days prior. He's also part of an idol group that Kadode had a crush on. We soon find out that Oba actually died a long time ago, and his body's been taken over by an invader. In this world, invaders can also take the body of humans to blend in even more with society. We were already shown this ability in episode 0 with Kadode's dad Nobuo, as he survived 832 and has now been taken over by an invader. Oba then infiltrates Ouran's memories, and we are hit with the flashback of her and Kadode meeting for the first time. When they were kids, Ouran sees a small UFO floating in the sky, but none of her friends believe her. The only person that does is Kadode. And on summer vacation, they even come across an alien and disguises it so no one finds out. You're probably thinking, what's the disguise? Well, it's Isobeyan, Dead Demon's in-universe version of Doraemon. This is also when Ouran receives her nickname, Ontan. Although fun at first, meeting this alien quickly shifts, no pun intended, Kadode's mindset from saving the world to eliminating people with the alien's gadgets. One of these incidents, Kadode lies to Ontan about. She then asks Kadode why she's been killing people, and Kadode's answer? To protect Ontan, as she thinks having Ontan in her life is, as they call it, absolute, which then leads to a fight breaking out. Ontan doesn't see Kadode for a day or two after the incident. That is, until she goes to her house to return her umbrella and Isobeyan manga. Kadode walks to the door with her hair messily cut. The two end up talking, with Kadode revealing her current spiraling mental state. She even references Isobeyan, saying that maybe she didn't need to kill all those people. Maybe she didn't need the power, but just a friend. Almost as if Ontan wasn't a friend to her, or she didn't even see Ontan as one. Kadode then jumps off her apartment complex, killing herself. The flashback ends with Ontan asking Isobeon for a way to reverse the events of what happened, and he takes Ontan and her older brother Hiroshi to a time machine back to a few days ago. So time travel is a thing as well. Now, judging by all these events, you would think that that was the entire anime. I mean, all of those plot points basically sums up an entire anime, right? Nope. That was just the first 8 episodes. Yep. This series is loaded with a bunch of different ideas, and I don't want to do a play-by-play of the entire show because this is something you want to go in blind or knowing very little about, because it's definitely a cinematic experience. As someone who's read the original manga, some changes were made that, in my opinion, worked well for consistency's sake in the anime. Not only is it loaded in plot, but it's also loaded with the cast, with Seiyuu veterans like Junichi Suabe, Koki Uchiyama, Kenjiro Tsuda. Wait. This isn't JJK. Atsuми Tanezaki, Tomokazu Sugita, but my favorite performances are from singers Ano and Lila Ikuta from YOASOBI, who voice Ouran and Kadode respectively. When I heard the manga was getting an anime adaptation, most of the main cast of characters were announced together, with the exception of Ouran and Kadode, as they were meant to be a surprise later down the road. A few months after the first announcement, Ano and Lila were cast as the 2 leads. And for their first time voice acting, both women did a great job. I really enjoyed Ano's performance over anyone else's. Because Ouran is such an eccentric character, I racked my brain trying to figure out who would they even cast to play her. Ano already has a unique sounding speaking voice that meshed well with Ouran's personality that I can't hear anyone else besides her voicing this character. Like, she is Ouran to a T. And with the singer's casting comes collaborative music for the film, even a new song for the opening of the anime version, which are all available on Spotify, by the way. The beginning of 2024 was a bit slow for anime, with only some big names sprinkled here and there. So when I heard Dead Demons was receiving an adaptation with a 2024 release date, I was amped. The original news was that it would be split into 2 movies. But as the first movie was playing in Japanese theaters, a new announcement was made about the manga also receiving an anime series. And my mind was like, oh, what about the 2 movies they already finished? It was in that same announcement that Crunchyroll bought the rights to turn both movies into a series. Oh! Because of this, not many were aware of the anime releasing or even aware of its existence entirely. You wanna know why? Remember when I mentioned that it aired back in spring? Around that same time, Windbreaker was airing, which was the talk of the town, but I'm not tripping off that. You wanna know what other shows aired that season as well? My Dear Friend Nokotan and Alia Hides Her Feelings in Russian. You niggas watch that Shika Noko 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 Koshtantan cause hee funny memes. Every reactor's watching this, so I'll watch it to feed the algorithm. Ooh, Alia funny cause Imoto wanna fuck her brother. A trope that I fucking hate with a passion. I'd excuse it if the shit was funny, but it wasn't even funny. And it also didn't help that Crunchyroll barely promoted it! How are you gonna waste your hard-earned money to buy the rights to stream it on your website, promote it once on Twitter, then come release date, just be like, oh, it's that day? Alright, fuck it, there you go, whatever. Oh, but y'all make sure to promote that Shika Noko 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 Kush Tan Tan, Shika Noko 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 Kush Tan Tan bullshit! And what's even crazier? Even the Inio Asano fans weren't even talking about it. But they're still asking, Oyasumi Pun Pun anime, when? Look, I hate to rain on your parade, but get an umbrella because I'm about to. There is never gonna be an Oyasumi Pun Pun anime. There will never be another Inio Asano anime for that matter, outside of this one. He's gone on record multiple times saying there will never be one. So to all you English-speaking fans, stop with the tweets, stop going into every one of his live streams asking, Pun Pun anime, when the nigga can't even speak English! Was I expecting this to be one of the biggest releases of the year? No. However, if it was promoted the way other releases that season were, it could have received a little cult following, cause everything's there. Good story, fun characters to follow, insane world building, great writing, cinematic art and animation. But when the self-proclaimed anime man Giga doesn't even cover it when he watches every isekai under the sun, yeah, that's a problem. And he lives in Japan, which makes it worse. Maybe if Crunchyroll released both parts in theaters as one complete movie, people would have heard about it. We've seen an influx of anime movies in theaters this year, and they've all performed well for the most part, so they could have taken that route. But no, they didn't do that. Listen, if you found my commentary funny or liked my explanation of Dead Dead Demons, please give it a watch. Hell, if you like what Dandadan is doing right now with the occult themes, specifically, give it a watch, because it's that times 1,000. The whole series is available now on Crunchyroll for you to watch, so please give it a try. But yeah, that's the end. Based off my explanation, what are your initial thoughts on Dead Dead Demons? Did you hear about the manga or anime prior to this video? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and if you rock with the video, leave a like and subscribe. Till next time, deuces.
I don't need no one else. With you, don't need no one else. Round her, I can lift my veils. Finally, I can be myself.